Well, tomorrow marks 9 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting, and today, Pulse survivors and relatives, they get that chance the first and only time to enter the building.
What is sure to be a very emotional time for them. The visits start today, and then they'll continue throughout the weekend. The building will eventually be torn down in order to build that Pulse memorial. Fox 35's David Martin there is live right now. Good morning, David.
Stephanie, good morning. I'm joined with James Copenhaver, a friend of Good Day Orlando. He's a retired detective with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And, well, good morning to you again, sir. How are you?
Good morning, David. Thank you.
So, this building behind us, the Pulse nightclub, will be open over the next 3 days to family members of survivors and family members of victims to walk through, get a 30-minute guided tour. And if they want, they can be pointed out exactly where their loved one perished that morning. That's pretty intense. That's got to be tough. I can't imagine as a human being able to take that. Tough morning, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, so much grieving process taking place here, and so many years that this building hasn't been accessible to anyone, right? So to open that up for the family and survivors is huge, but I think it's going to really help the grieving process, David, to let these folks come in and actually see and kind of feel where their loved ones were when this deadly accident or this deadly incident took place.
Some might need it for closure. Some might need it for healing. I will tell you, of the 49 victims who died that night, 25 of them are being represented by families over the next 3 days. That means half did not choose to go on the tour. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't. I mean, you know, the grieving process, we're no stranger to this. We've seen the grieving process on all of these mass shooting cases and casualty cases. So not to show up and not to be part of this is not, it's to be expected. I mean, people grieve in different ways, but I'm sure there's some family members and survivors that want to be here to at least kind of feel that sense of what happened to their loved one just before they perished.
Basically a blank slate. What, though, do you think emotionally they're going to feel walking through there in terms of seeing the physical space, not exactly as it was on June 12th, 2016, but certainly dark and somber?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not going to be the club atmosphere, right, when their loved ones had perished in this building. I mean, everything's going to be dark. It's a blank slate, like you said. But, yeah, these folks have a connection to the building. This is where their loved one passed away or died. And it was a brutal death, right? So I think walking into that is at least going to give them some closure in terms of feeling close to where their loved one died, and maybe hopefully continue the grieving process and journey.
You've spent decades in law enforcement. Have you ever had a case like this where people have had to go back and mourn the loss several years later? Does it reopen wounds?
It does. I mean, there was a mass shooting on Forsyth Road, if you recall, a few years ago. There's some deputies that responded to that scene, but they still have an issue of riding by that scene where they had went in for those perished folks that it was a mass shooting. You know, we see these roadside grave markers all the time. People put them out and they come and grieve at those roadside grave markers where an accident perhaps took place. This is on a whole different level. I mean, it was a mass casualty event. A lot of people died, and it hit us all, right? I mean, we were all affected by this.
No question about it. The question next is, when the families come out, James, will they talk to the media? Will they express to us what they felt going through there? And we won't know that exactly, Ryan and Stephanie, until they start taking the tours, which are scheduled to start later this morning. James Copenhaver, thanks for joining us. I always appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
We'll send it back to you in the studio.
And David, this is such a unique situation that they're going to be able to go back into that building. But once again, I want to share with people that you were there after that shooting, just within hours of it. So what is the comparison between right now as you're waiting for those victims to return and what you felt that day, David?
You know, we often get asked, and James, I'm sure you get asked this as well, where were you when those shots rang out at 2 o'clock in the morning? And for me, I was sound asleep in bed. I got a call from my boss saying, I need you to wake up. Rare on a Sunday morning at 3 in the morning for a boss to call. I need you to get downtown. And I was in a stupor. Why would you need me downtown? He said, well, we have mass casualty, right? We have fatalities everywhere, and you're getting dressed in a suit. You're trying to just grasp what the next, not day, but weeks, months are going to entail, and it was brutal, no question about it.
In this case, years later, right? We're still going through it.
Right, almost a decade later. And I recall specifically the long lines for the blood bank right around the corner here at One Blood. People, the best they could do, they wanted to help in some form or fashion. I remember covering that and talking to people, just standing in line for hours in the heat, mind you, wanting to help any way they could. Remarkable sense of support from our community. It's the best they could do in that time.
Well, I think everyone in the community came out and tried to help in some way, shape, or form, right? I mean, it touched everyone. This is our hometown. This is our city, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember I worked a case in the private sector that day and had gotten home late, and then I saw the news flash, and I'm like, oh, heavens to goodness, what's happening? And then, you know, we started living through the process. And then, just like you, we spent a lot of days down here after that covering the incident on media. And it was just, so many people came out with food and water and drinks. And, you know, it was really a collective soul of the community, David.
Indeed. Historical, not in a good way, but it'll be etched in our brains forever, Stephanie.
Hey, David, you may have just heard we had the mayor on. He has been inside the building. He said it's dark, it's very quiet, it's sat there empty for 9 years. I mean, just kind of previewing what the people that come through today and in the coming years are going to see and feel inside there.
Yeah, no question about it. Today and the next 2 days will be tough for them, no question about it.
David, thanks. James as well. We will continue to check back in with them.